All right, hello, Giants fans, and welcome to a new edition of the Valentine's Views podcast here on Big Blue View Radio, part of your SB Nation family of podcasts. Those of you listening on our podcast network, please like and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. If you're watching us on YouTube, please like and subscribe there as well. Today, with less than a week to go before Giants training camp opens, I am joined by Joe Rubeck, legendary Giants fan that you guys probably know as License Plate Guy. So I have to ask you first and foremost, thanks for spending a few minutes. And I see you're in your cave there.
Yeah, I'm in my, first of all, thanks for having me, Ed. Anytime you want me, I'm there. It's funny. I don't really know why I have a cave. I've been to every game in, 22 years. Why am I sitting in this cave? Why do I even have a TV down here?
I don't know. Well, just in the unlikely event you want to hang out in the cave and, watch a Sunday night game where the Cowboys lose or something,
Yeah, you know what? It's very relaxing cave when that happens.
There you go. There you go. So, hey, I wanted to have you on because this is turning out to be kind of a cool training camp, kind of a cool year coming up for the Giants in terms of the fan experience. This will be the first time since 2019 that fans will be back at Qwest, for training camp. And I'm just curious, first and foremost, how much are you looking forward to that?
Yeah, I mean, Ed, this is incredible. I mean, we spent all of these years not being able to go with, COVID a couple of times. Then, then one year the Giants blamed it on the bleachers not being up or something like that last time around. Hey, look, they got their money's worth, not having fans there. But, I look at football like, this is family time, like your friends and family. You get to hang out and have these tailgates and get together with Giants Nation, and just weren't really able to do that. And I think everybody is really excited to get to hang out, go back to the Qwest Diagnostic, go back to MetLife, well, we call it Giant Stadium, and hang around with all of your buddies. So I'm super excited for that. I mean, you can't ask for anything more. We're back.
There you go. Yeah, I think what they said last year was that they didn't feel like they would have been able to schedule enough public practices to make it worthwhile to put the bleachers up. But
yeah,
I don't know if I'm buying that, but whatever.
Yeah, I think what didn't Judge wanted to take them for a week here and a week there, and then it wound up to not be enough time to put them up. But they did blame it on the bleachers, and you know what? Let's say they would have gotten 2 or 3 or 4 in. You're right. Maybe that's not enough to put them up. I don't really care because we're here and we're ready to rock and roll on the what? The 26th is all the Giants report. The 27th is the first practice. So I'm so excited. Like every fan should be. They should be monster excited because here we are in July. It's time to get pumped up again. Those of us that pray and hope for a competitive team, this is when we're rooting for it. And those that are like, well, we'll see if they win a game or two. You got to get excited there too. So everybody should be excited.
Well, it is once again a new start, not only a new season, but it is once again, another new regime, another new coaching staff, another new GM. It's another fresh start. And I had Brandon London on a week or two ago. And he said, I asked him, where he stood on all of that. And he said, Ed, I'm just driving my car down the middle of the road and we'll see what happens.
That's it. You know what? That's a really good analogy on his part, but sooner or later you run out of freaking gas. And I would tell Brandon London, maybe he's getting too much out of the soccer that he covers, but something had to be done. I mean, Ed, how many times did we say that something should be done and that the Giants don't really jump in with 2 feet? They jump in with, they test the water with a toe. They may maybe stand in the shallow end, but this was the time that they really went all in. And I'm really excited for what's coming next.
Yeah, it's interesting, and I didn't want to get deep into this, but I've said for years, going back to when Tom Coughlin was shown the door, I've said for years that I thought that, and even before Coughlin was shown the door, I always thought that the Giants went halfway in terms of trying to fix what was going on. I felt like they knew something was wrong, and they're like, well, we'll change this tire, or we'll change the spark plugs, and it just doesn't work that way.
That's a really good way to look at it, Ed. Perfectly said. I do agree. They've managed to put a Band-Aid on a problem. I like the analogy of the changing a tire. Don't worry about the other ones. This will be it. We could go all the way back to Jerry Reese times, who I think did a great job. And then it was like, okay, now do it. And they didn't. And then they didn't from all the years after that. So you're right. And now This year was completely different. They really have given up control, in my opinion. That doesn't mean they don't have a say, because you know darn well that they do.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm talking about the Tisches and the Maras. I'm not only talking about the Maras.
Absolutely.
So, it had to be done. And I think the Giants got the right people in play. Young, hungry, and exciting.
There you go. And I have to ask, we talk about training camp, we talk about fans being back, and I know that you'll be there. I know that you'll be there in full regalia, ready to go, ready to whip up the crowd and say hello to as many people as you can. Aside from the Fan Fest, which we'll get into in a minute, you have anything special going on in terms of training camp, in terms of, what you've got going on with fans?
Yeah, so just my normal routine. Hey, look, I try to get as many tickets as I can into people's hands. That started years back when I noticed that I saw a couple of people online selling free camp tickets for like $30-40, and I went absolutely ballistic on them. And one guy was like, hey, don't tell me what to do. And I was like, he's right. Like, he's totally right. He can do whatever he wants with his tickets. Mm-hmm. And then I just begged Giants Nation to send me their extras, and I wound up giving away hundreds of camp tickets. And then obviously that led into the seasons, and I was giving tickets away left and right. But again, I'm not giving them away. I'm basically the platform. I'm the go-between to get tickets from
people who can't use them are giving them to you, basically.
Right. And you know what? If I'm not going to lie, it's a big giant hassle. It's like a second job. I'm sitting here before the games, and I'm like, getting tickets, emailing tickets. And I didn't like it, but I opened up my mouth, and you gotta, you have to be held accountable for the things that you say.
Wait a minute.
So I did it. I liked it, and I'm going to continue to do it.
Wait a minute. Second job isn't like being license plate guy, a full-time job. Isn't that your only gig? You have a life outside of that?
Well, contrary to what people believe, some just think I ride around in Tish's plane and married into the Mara family, and I'm good to go to all these games. But no, I have a job. My job is 12 months, and then I have a Giants job, and then I look like I'm a freaking ticket guy now. So yeah, I got 3 jobs in. But you know what? I will tell you something funny. I do not think that. I hope I will not be doing a lot of giving away tickets during the year, because the reason why I was giving away tickets is because
people weren't using them because they didn't want to go to the games.
And this year, I hope I don't get rid of them, because
people will be in the seats for games that interest them. There you go.
And the Giants are going to be a competitive team this year, Ed, and I'm really looking forward to it.
All right. Hey, Fan Fest last year, first time the Giants did that. How cool was that?
I really enjoyed that. I mean, it was game atmosphere. Stadium was packed. Let's get one thing straight. The practice is boring, but that's okay. They're going through their drills and everything, but it was still time for Giants family to get together. Now, we did a lap around the stadium for Joe Judge. I guess we're not doing a lap this year, which is good, because I was sweating my off. So I'm glad we're not doing the lap, but we had a really good time. We had hundreds of people at this tailgate that we were doing. I'm probably going to do it again with Talking Giants and getting together and getting everybody there. We have really had a good time, and we'll probably do it again.
Cool. Yeah. I thought it was great. I always wondered why the Giants didn't do that, in prior years. I thought it was fantastic. I think the coolest thing for me, back in the day, I covered high school football. And when you cover high school football, you're on the sideline and it's snowing or raining or whatever. You're trudging up and down the sideline, keeping your own stats and doing all that stuff. But toward the end of that workout, Giants PR let all the media down on the field. And it wasn't so much that watching practice from that level was cool, but what was really cool was feeling the energy, from up behind us, from the fans up behind us. That's something that you can't feel sitting in the press box. And that was a lot of fun.
And that's Fan Fest. You just said it, Ed. That's Fan Fest. Like I just said to you, the practice was but Fan Fest is about the fans.
Well, and that is something, and not just Fan Fest, but for Giants fans who haven't been to a training camp practice or a Fan Fest or anything, you're not going to a football game. Depending on what day you go, they might be in shorts and t-shirts. They might be in shells. It might be a short workout. They might not do any hitting. It's not necessarily about the practice. Although that's kind of cool to watch some of the drills and some of the one-on-ones and all of that. It's about being with the fans. It's about maybe catching an autograph, from a current player or a past Giants great. It's about the experience. You're going to see practice. You're not going to see, you're not going to see the Giants playing the Cowboys.
Ed, we're talking about practice. But you know what? We got some pretty cool fireworks too.
Ah,
maybe some sparklers, but it was okay.
Hey, there you go. Hey,
don't forget the last time the Giants, before last year, wasn't the last time they did like a practice at Giant Stadium in camp? That's when Dominic Hickson tore his knee. Remember that? That was probably the last time it was open. Yep. The stadium was open.
I do. See,
yeah, we don't like to talk about that.
No, they should just come back to Albany. Come back to Albany.
Oh, I had the best times in Albany.
Well, see the thing about Albany. I mean, first and foremost, selfishly, when they have practice in Albany, I sleep in my own bed.
Wow.
I sleep in my own bed because that's 20 minutes away from me instead of 145 miles. But
yeah,
that's neither here nor there. But
you know what?
But the Albany experience was great for fans just because of the way it was spread out, the way it was set up. I really wish that Quest, you've got bleachers, you're behind a fence. But you're in a parking lot. It's not as nice as that was, but still, I would not discourage anyone from going if they want to go.
No, I'm 100% in agreement. Nothing was like Albany. Guys were all over the place. You could go to a restaurant next door to the field after the practice was over, and 20 guys were there. Nothing beat Albany. Nothing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and it's funny. It's funny that you said it's 10 minutes from your house. I was talking to a couple of beat writers, and they're so happy that practice is at 10 o'clock, where I am unhappy because I work, and I was already taking a few hours to get there at 1,
mm-hmm.
and now all the practices are at 10. And then the beat writer's like, oh, that's great. We get to write our stuff and be home by like 2
mm-hmm.
instead of by 10 at night. And so to each his own, just like you just said, it's 10 minutes from your house instead of 145 miles. So it's going to be beneficial to somebody.
Yeah. I like the schedule, but whatever. 'Cause it's nice to mostly be done with your work by the tail end of the afternoon. But but I'm sure that at some point Brian Dable will change that on us. Just
Not
to
train, not training camp. It's
I
set.
I hope not. I hope
Nah,
he leaves it that way.
he
I
is
hope he,
10 o'clock
yeah.
practices, baby.
Yep, that's what my schedule says, and let's cross our fingers and hope it stays that way.
I,
Um,
I want 1 o'clock. I want 2 o'clock. I want 3 o'clock.
you don't get a vote. Well, maybe
Ain't that
maybe
the truth?
well maybe you do, but if you're getting a vote, it's I don't know about it.
I hear you.
Gotta ask you, how much are you loving the throwback uniforms that the Giants announced this
I
morning?
really happy with it. Really happy they're going back to champion days. What made me most happy today, Ed, was to see how many former Giants post on social media about how happy they were.
Well, it's just I look at that and you know I'm sorry, but the current Giants uniform doesn't do a whole lot for me. It just doesn't.
Correct.
The gray pants, what are the gray pants are blasé. I'm not a big fan of the lowercase ny on the helmets. I'm just not, especially give me all caps Giants on the side of that helmet, all day, every day. And I love that throwback uniform. I love the white color rush uniforms. I wish the Giants would use those all the time, and maybe someday they will.
And well, right now, what the throwbacks are 2 games, Washington and
2 games. I think it's going to be really cool because you'll have the end zones painted in the red like the Giants used to, and they'll have some of the 80s like championship banners wrapping MetLife. I think that'll be really cool.
I think it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
You know what? For those 2 games that they're wearing the throwbacks, I think they should hang a banner over MetLife called Giant Stadium for those 2 games. What do you think?
Hey, I'm all in on that. I'm all in on that. Can we, while we're at it, can we take all that gray on the outside and throw a big old coat of blue paint on it?
Unfortunately, we share it, so that ain't happening.
Yeah, I know. And I say that to people all the time. It's like, well, the stadium is so boring and it has no personality. And it's like, I agree with you, but unfortunately, it's, it's a shared stadium and it had to be that way.
Yeah, I mean, look, I've been to every stadium multiple times. MetLife Stadium was built right before the real stadiums were built, if that makes any sense.
No, I hear you, because it's not the Jerry Dome. It's not what we see in LA now. It's not,
Vegas.
It was in Vegas now. It's not what we see.
It's not Atlanta. It's not Minnesota. It's not anything.
No, it's a building to play football in.
I mean, look, at the end of the day, I understand it's a business, and what you just said should be the all end. It should be about just playing football in it, but it's not. It's an experience. If families are spending, $100 and something a ticket, let's say you can't go to a game unless you're spending $500-600 for a family to go. Your ass better. Sorry, you better have something else. You better have something else to do besides just watch football.
But I think you're 100% right when you said that stadium was built right before all of these stadiums that came in that are experiences. They're experiences to go into. It wasn't built to be an experience. Everything that came after it has been built, to be a marvel of some sort.
That's correct.
So, but it is what it is. I look at it this way, Joe. I'm not a big fan of the new Yankee Stadium. I've been there multiple times, haven't been there in a few years. I loved the old Yankee Stadium. I loved how close everybody was. I hated it on the days when I would go there and I had the nosebleed seats, because it was almost like walking up the side of a building. It was so steep to get up to the nosebleeds. But the thing about it was, every seat in the place was right on top of the playing field because it was so vertical. It was like playing in a fishbowl, and it was so loud, and it was such an experience, and there was so much history in that building. I look at it this way. If the Giants win and people are staying in their seats, that stadium is going to feel like Giants Stadium. It's not going to matter that it's not, that it doesn't have a huge personality of its own. I think,
Yeah.
I think fans, and you can speak to this, it's been so long. I think, Giants fans historically have it a heck of a lot better than a lot of fan bases,
No question.
but it's been a long time now since they've been able to really let it out and show it.
Ain't that the truth?
And I think when the time comes that they're able to show it, that place will feel like Giants Stadium again.
Yeah, that's correct.
And that's your job to make sure that happens.
100%. I'll take it on. I'm ready.
There you go. Hey, Joe, I appreciate the time. If any other thoughts on training camp, any other thoughts on the season, coming up before I let you go?
I mean, yeah, I have to tell you, I really love the schedule. I love opening up in Nashville. I don't mind the Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's. Every team has to play in some of it anyways, but I don't love the London trip. I would have liked to have gone to Green Bay. But now, I got to spend a few more thousand and get my butt to London. And, I'm really looking forward to all the games. I can't believe this year I was able to get a few sponsors, and I think I already gave away 4 or 6 tickets to London, airfare included, hotel included.
Nice.
And, we got this OBJ meet and greet coming up in a week. We got Bill Parcells meet and greet this weekend. I mean, we got a lot of things going on for the fans, and I think I'm gonna give away one of these jobbies.
A little, oh, good Lord. Good Lord.
Yeah,
Two-sided Thibodeau jersey. There you go.
Yeah, I think we're just gonna, you know what? When things were bad, I started like to be honest with you, I just started like going around and just grabbing stuff and was like, you know what? It's been so bad around here. Let's give this cup away. Let's give this water bottle away. And it's actually become a pretty cool thing. And I get rid of a few things that I had lying around that unless I get rid of it, besides me being a hoarder, I'm going to wind up having to move sooner than later.
Oh, there you go. I shouldn't make any, just don't give away, medium Pepsis. I shouldn't make any of those remarks, but I kind of just did.
Ed, I have to tell you, would it not be incredible if this is some crap that I come up with in my head sometimes. I'm like, if the Giants really changed everything around, I would have signed a new contract with Coke, not Pepsi. I'm not joking. That's like tongue in cheek, but I would have changed everything.
There you go.
I would have changed I would have changed the urinals. I would have changed everything, bro.
Oh man. It's so funny because I went last year to Foxborough when the Giants practiced against the Patriots, and
yes, sir.
And it's so different because you can't go anywhere without a Patriots logo in the buildings there. You can't go anywhere without that. And it gives everything a different feel.
Yeah, but hold on, Ed. That's a lot of places I get to visit, but you don't get that in New York because Giants Jet Share Stadium. Buffalo is hours away. Like, you don't get that. Philly's down I-95. You don't really get that because we're not the only we're not the only game in town.
Right.
So I hear you though, and you're never going to get that at our stadium, and that's what bothers me the most. I don't understand. For the life of me, I can't figure out why the Jets just can't find a stadium in the city. Just go. Just go.
Hey, just build a stadium in the park next to Yankee Stadium. I don't know, whatever. But there's gotta be a place, and I look at it this way. These are two very well off, big market franchises. For the
That
life
are
of
on the
me,
rise,
I've
bro.
never,
They're on the rise.
I've never been able to figure out why they can't afford stadiums of their own.
You
But
don't get me. And I can't believe that's the last thing we'll talk about. You got me all gassed up. I'm not gonna sleep tonight.
I'm sorry. Let's go back to talking about FanFest then.
Hey,
All
look,
right.
honestly, I'm really looking forward to seeing some
All
Giant fans on what is this? 8/5, August 5th.
Yep, August 5th,
Yeah.
FanFest.
Yeah, really looking forward to
A
it.
lot of fun. If you didn't go last year, I don't know. Hopefully you can still get a ticket. I'm not sure. I know.
I doubt you can, but at some point, I'm gonna, open up my email and first come, first serve. I mean, I'm getting so many requests now, and I'm not even keeping a total yet. I'm not even
Mhm.
looking at it.
Yeah.
So when I do it, I'm sure I'm gonna be able to get a few hundred people that don't have tickets in.
All right. Hey, Joe, appreciate the time, and we will see you in a week out at Quest, and I'm sure you'll be fired up.
Yes, sir. Ed, anytime you could have me on, I love it. I really appreciate you asking.
No problem. We'll do it again. Giants fans, thank you as always for listening. Please remember, stay safe out there, take care of each other, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Go Giants, baby!